Ladies and gentlemen, Shawn Wilson.
Good morning. Really excited to be here, President and CEO of Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan. And I feel like so much of what has been discussed this morning really falls into our reimagined vision for the organization. Currently, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan, you can see where our footprint is pretty vast, ranging from Pontiac, Auburn Hills. Of course, our strengths are really Detroit and Highland Park, but then also down towards Romulus and Belleville. When I took over 2.5 years ago, we were serving about 12,000 youth. We're doing about 21,000 youth families and entrepreneurs this year. And as you can see, we're on a growth trajectory to serve 48,000 youth families and entrepreneurs by the year 2025. But this wasn't always the case. When I first took over, the organization was in steep decline. I had over $1 million in debt. It was closing clubs. Staff was exiting at a high rate, and so coming in as the new president and CEO, we knew that we had to really blow up the model. Traditionally, when you think about the Boys and Girls Club, you think about a latchkey program, you think about a drop-in center, you probably think gym swim, you think safe place. And so as in my first 100 days as president and CEO, I sat with over 300 community stakeholders, did a dozen visioning sessions and benchmarking tours, and said, how do we reimagine this organization for greater community impact? So today what I'm going to do is share the model that was really developed in partnership with the community. And once again, it really does feed off of a lot of what we talked about this morning. So at the end of the day, what we heard from the community is that they wanted us to treat the root cause, as Jim Farley said, the root cause of problems facing the community. Look, I've been doing this work 25 years. I've been on the side of trying to help youth graduate on time, disrupt the prison pipeline, curve teen pregnancy, et cetera, et cetera. But the root cause of all those things is poverty, poverty, poverty. And so our new reimagined model is really focused all about addressing poverty or economic mobility. So this is our theory of change. We believe we can help youth climb this economic mobility ladder. And what that means to us is that when they leave our clubs, they're career, startup, and homeowner ready. So they're career ready from a standpoint of they can earn a livable wage. Startup ready, meaning they can start their own business. And then home ownership, because as we know, that's the backbone of wealth building in our country, as we just heard so much about. But it's also how they're going to pass generational wealth so that we ensure that one generation doesn't slip back into poverty. And then, as we heard today as well, that's also how they're going to fund some of their startup businesses for the first time. And then lastly, it's really our moonshot for the organization that home ownership can be the doorway to revitalizing the neighborhoods that our clubs are located in. Because traditionally, our clubs are located in some of the toughest neighborhoods. And that's for all Boys and Girls Clubs, quite honestly, across the country. And that's an asset when you're trying to drive economic mobility. So quickly, how do we get to career, startup, and homeowner ready? First and foremost, access to a community or ecosystem, which is all committed to driving economic mobility, making sure that we're affordable, making sure that we're getting buy-in directly from the community. And then it's about safety, right? Physically, social and emotionally, and then skill building from free play, organized sports, 21st century skills, and then ultimately self-efficacy. Do the youth believe that they can be career, startup, and homeowner ready? Now, a lot of times people think that that's a touchy-feely thing, self-efficacy, where we're having them stand in the mirror and do affirmations, but it's not. So self-efficacy is actually us helping them build a resume and portfolio of accomplishments that help them believe that. And so you're actually going to get a taste of that. As an example, we launched a fashion industry club last year in partnership with Detroit is the New Black and Deviate fashion brand. These youth are paid $10 to $13 an hour to go deep into the fashion industry. We license some of their designs for as much as $1,500 per design. And then we actually brought those designs to market and sold. And as you'll see, our social justice collection did $10,000 in the first month in market. And so you'll meet some of our youth today. You'll see some of their fashions, their own collections, and some of the collaborations that they did. But at the end of the day, their portfolio in the fashion industry club really is second to none. They've collaborated with Ruthie Davis, with Foot Locker, with Big Sean. They just did a fashion show on the riverfront for Big Sean. So their resume is stacked, and you'll learn more about that. This is our ecosystem, right? Because the thing we know is that we can't do it alone. That's a really bold vision that we set out, and we can't do it alone. So first and foremost, we looked at each of our locations, drew a 5-mile radius around each of our clubs and said, this is our ecosystem. This is what we're committed to. This is where we're committed to driving economic mobility in. And then we're looking for partners who are committed simultaneously. And in some case, we may bring in partners, right, that we believe are crucial to the ecosystem. But what you'll see, some of the ecosystem highlights on the right-hand side, 21,000 youth families and entrepreneurs served this year. We've reinvested $1.8 million into the ecosystem in Black and brown businesses, female-owned businesses. That's hardcore cash. That's not us talking about the space that we provide to entrepreneurs, but that's literally what we've invested in minority-owned businesses. Now, one of the ways we've been able to do that is by merging with Pony Ride, which was a small business incubators makerspace in Corktown. And now Pony Ride is only located inside of Boys and Girls Club. So we have entrepreneurs real time in our clubs that are working with our youth. And because of that, we've been able to reinvest. We have about 51 startups under our umbrella, 5 co-working space maker spaces, 42 program partners. And one of the groups that you'll meet today is Deviate Fashion Brand. And you can kind of see them at number 15 and 20. So how this ecosystem works is that they're actually a Pony Ride tenant. They're one of our small businesses in our Highland Park location on the 2nd floor. But they're also a program partner. They actually teach the industry club to our youth. And so this is a situation where we're feeding and we're getting fed, and the youth are benefiting at the end of the day. I want you to meet one of our tenants. We can turn the volume up.
Sneakers in your possessions, period. What COVID did to my business, like everybody else, nobody knew what was happening. I immediately thought about my family, and I went into survival mode. And I don't know where people were wearing their sneakers to during that time, but we just picked up like crazy. And it just started to push us in a position of, we need a space. We had to figure something out that will allow us to like make mistakes and not go under. Last summer, we started to entertain the idea of Pony Ride. We knew some people in the program previously. At first, we like, I don't know about this, because we were just looking at these spaces like off the water and all these beautiful things. And we come here inside of a Boys and Girls Club. When we actually thought about it together, it's like, yo, this is the perfect scenario. Being able to bring my kid here is huge. Whether he's in a program out there or he's just in my space with me, my son sees me working every day. He sees the hard work that's going in.
So hopefully what you'll grab from that is that the unique space that we're filling by bringing Pony Ride into our clubs is that most co-working spaces, most maker spaces, you can't bring your kids. And so traditionally, a lot of these spaces target a certain type of entrepreneur, right? A certain kind of the younger entrepreneur with no wife or with no kids, maybe a single, parent or a single individual. But what we found is that entrepreneurship in the ecosystem is on every level. You have seniors who are entrepreneurs, parents who are entrepreneurs, and so they need a more family-style atmosphere where they can bring their family to participate in their venture. So this really shows kind of how we're scaling, and the big thing on here I think to show is our 5-year plan is really aggressive. We're on target to meet that 5-year plan. When I started, our budget was about $2.8 million. We'll do between 10 and 12 million this year. By 2025, we anticipate doing about 20 to 30 million annually. But a big piece of that is invested in capital because we do have standalone facilities. And so, we just opened up, Big Shawn is a great partner. We just opened up multiple studios, music studios, production studios. We're launching a series of esports lounges with the Red Wings and a couple other organizations. And so what you'll see a heavy investment in our capital expansion. Here's our keys to growth. And really the big one on this is we know we're going to raise $86 million over the next 5 years, but nearly half of that will go back into entrepreneurs of color. So we're putting half of that back directly into the communities around each of our clubs. So now I'm really excited to really give you guys a taste, right? So once again, going back to that self-efficacy piece, every chance we get, we want to help our youth build their portfolios, right? Every chance we get, we want them to build their resume. So to be able to say that they were featured at Detroit Homecoming is such an honor. For them to be able to say that their fashion was featured at Detroit Homecoming, builds, on what they've already been able to establish at very young ages, 13, 14 years old. So once again, I'm really excited to introduce you to a couple of our youth, and I'm going to give you just a little taste of what they've been able to accomplish so far. All right. I know it's Saturday morning, but I want you guys to make a lot of noise for Madison and Mackenzie.
Good morning, my name is Mackenzie, and I'm a fashion entrepreneur of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan.
Good morning, my name is Madison, and I'm also a fashion entrepreneur of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan.
We are here today to talk to you about our experience at the Industry Club. In addition to focusing on my studies as an 8th grader, I am also the founder and creative director of Unapologetically Black, a contemporary men's and women's wear, ready-to-wear line rooted in equality and empowerment. I launched my business just over 1 year ago after joining the Fashion Design Industry Club, where I applied, interviewed, and was selected for an apprenticeship with Deviate and Detroit's The New Black. It was during this 12-week program that I discovered my passion for design thinking and creative entrepreneurship. I now work at the Fashion Design Industry Club as a mentor to future cohorts. My career aspirations include continuing to define my business and myself as an emerging talent in the fashion industry. While I am just 13 years old, I already have collaborations in my portfolio with global and national brands, such as Foot Locker, Moose Jaw, Ruthie Davis, the Detroit Pistons, and Big Sean, among others. I believe in my skills and my abilities. I see a clear path to success. I am the future of fashion. But don't just take my word for it. We've prepared a fashion show so you can see what we've accomplished over the past year.
Have you heard about the new dance craze? Listen to us, I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be had by everyone. It's up to you, sure they can be done. I'm doing it, I'm told. It's all a freak, doing it all day.
Spider-Man and flies in full effect. Really good.
I'm ready to say
Girl, I must know. I said something strange in my mind. Yo, situation is, let's cure it cause we're running out of time. It's also relationships they seem from the start. It's also the love is not taken from the heart. Check it out.
It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my
her lover. That girl is poison. Never trust a big button smile. That girl is poison. Now that you've seen our portfolio of product collaborators, Kenzie and I would love to show you a collection that we made entirely ourselves. I joined the most recent cohort of the Fashion Industry Club this past summer. Kenzie was my mentor, and we clicked creatively, so we chose to work together on a collection about fashion's impact through history. We wanted to challenge gender norms by taking traditionally masculine design elements and making them feminine and vice versa. We showcased this collection to Big Shawn himself during the Dawn Weekend last month, and now we are excited to bring it to you as well. Please enjoy Fashion Through the Decades.
2008, you sold 2000 and late. I got that boom, 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 that future boom, boom, boom. Let me get in there.
Boom, gotta get that boom. So she gotta get that boom. Boom, gotta get that boom. Boom, gotta get that boom. Yeah. So she.
I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be hyped by everyone. It's up to you. Sure they can be done. Everything I'm told. And you to know so. It's all a freak. Doing it all day. And now we'll show you up.
Girl, I must tell you, I said something strange in my mind.
Once again, let's give it up for Madison and Mackenzie, fashion entrepreneurs.
Thank you for your time, and please come and find us in the lobby if you're interested in purchasing some of the projects you just saw. Thank you, and we hope to see you at our booth.